Hello, welcome to Pen and Paper ASMR. Today I wanted to, well, honestly more like I needed to, get my next week in my bullet journal set up. Right now it is getting towards the end of July, and this next week is going to be the last full week of July. And so I'll have one more full week of it just being July, and then it will be half the week will be July, and then half will be August. And I've yet to decide whether I want that to fall under July or August in terms of the cover pages. But this one, it's still all July, last full week, and I was looking on Pinterest for ideas. I really like simple ideas or things that are more minimal, because execution wise I know I can probably pull off something similar. Some of the more artistic, like full page drawings, that's just not me. So I saw one that's a little different than my typical preference. I like to have boxes or the dividers across the page. Basically I like to typically make it look more like a planner you might buy, and just kind of structure it to what I need it to be from there, which is why I like to do the journal. But I saw an idea and it was black and white, so in theory I can just do it with a black gel pen. This one is the Pentel Energel in the 0.5, and it's black. And I'm gonna kind of take an idea I saw on Pinterest and adapt it to the bullet journal. And so the idea was, and if you watch you'll see what I mean by the end hopefully, is that you have a box that has the day, so there's a box and it just says Monday, and then around that box you have the, I really don't know if there's a word for it, but it's almost like that box is like a header and the number date is written around it. So this is the little guide that comes with it, but pretend that this is the box, and let's say the date Monday is the 22nd, I believe. Let's see, today is the 19th, then 2012, yep, so 22. So you'd have, Monday, and then you'd have the top of the two up here and the bottom of the two finishing out on the bottom. Almost like you were to place a sticker over top of the number. We'll see how that goes. But that's what I'm going to try to do. And they also, in theirs, they had 4 columns per page. So they had enough for every day of the week, plus a notes column. And I considered doing that for this, but when I actually look at the guide, 4 in this journal per page is only 6 boxes, and that's not very much space to write. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make it a little wider, and I'm just going to have less room. So I decided I'm going to do 4 per page, and really the notes section is just going to say notes, and we're just gonna see how it goes. There were a couple concepts that were similar, that maybe involve the number and either the date or just a different combination of what was in the background, what was on top. But I'm gonna try this one, and so I'm gonna leave enough space at the top that it will this week. So I'm gonna leave, this one's not as exact because the evenness is just going to be 2 sections across the page. And honestly, you don't even need in this journal the guidelines because they have a little dash and a little cross in the center. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick my starting line. I think I'm going to start here. Let's see how far down that is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then the concept here was that a line was drawn across, kind of to divide the plans from the heading. So here's my ruler. I said 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that will give plenty of room. I'm just going to line up my ruler. Okay, so I at least have to commit to a header because I'm drawing the line. So I learned a valuable lesson not to drag the ruler across the page. Basically, I have smudged my journal now more than once. The one time I smudged it enough, I was actually filming a video and I basically ruined what I was doing, and I couldn't keep going. I just stopped filming and just finished up what I had. So for the video's sake, I will show you the pink is the 2, and so there's the edge, here's the middle, the pink's right there, and it goes to the other edge. So this middle line here, it's going to be kind of imaginary compared to the other times I've done my bullet journal recently where I literally draw a line, whether that's with a pen or with a highlighter. And so if this is my midpoint and that is my edge, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so there are 13 boxes. So that would mean that the 7th one is like the midpoint. So let's find the 7th. I'm going to count down 1, or I guess 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this box right here is going to be my aim for the middle of the word Monday. And I'm not going to try to do anything crazy or fancy. I'm just going to write Monday, and then I'm going to make the box extend from here to, let's see, be here. And then, I know I just freehanded the sides, but I will connect them with the ruler. Okay. And then, like I said, Monday is the 22nd. And so I'm just going to try and write 22 over top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the box where the D is the middle. So I'm going to start a little to the left. I'm going to pretend like my number 2 is extending. 22 is a hard one because it's the same number twice. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. You know, theirs is a little different with their handwriting and everything like that. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that again. I'll probably do it just quiet. That way I can focus and try not to mess it up any. So I'm going to just count to myself and draw it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the middle. And Tuesday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm gonna mix that with a what would you call that? A white jelly roll pen. Okay. Moving over here, it's gonna be the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just eyeballing. That might not have been the best way to draw 24. That's alright. 5, 6, 7. So Thursday's a little shorter. Hand twitched a little there. Oops, see, that wasn't right. But I'll correct that here in a second. Once I know it's dry with a white gel pen. Someday I want to get one of those more fancy correction tapes. But until then, the white gel pen will do. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's think about how a 5 Could have gone worse. Okay, let me grab my Moonlight Jelly Roll. This is what I get for not practicing beforehand. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that it is working. Just have a sticky here. Okay. Can you see that white ink? If you scribble, it shows up on the green paper. So I'm just going to use it almost like a whiteout pen. I'm pretty sure those actually do exist. I just don't have one. And it's not perfect. You will still be able to see where I placed the white ink, but after a layer or two, it becomes a lot less noticeable. These are also, they're old. I have a couple of them, and I let them sit for a long time. So sometimes I need a little extra, like, you know, refreshing maybe might be the right word. Anyway, okay, so I think you see the idea here. And so now I'm just going to start, the center's right here. And so just like this one where I counted down 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna go to the center and I'm gonna count down 1, 2, 3. So it's on this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so Friday is really short. Okay. So then learn from my mistakes. 1 in from each side. So here's the middle. Go 1 in. That was the mistake over here, as I didn't do them far enough apart. Gonna start there. Okay, same thing as the 5. Let's try to visualize a 6. That was actually a little easier for me. Kind of looks like a cherry, but I know it's a 6. Oh, can you see how it's a little lopsided? Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. Sometimes my phone will go out of focus, and I won't know until the end, and then it's just either it's like too blurry and then it's ruined, or I just live with it because it's not for as long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just again, just eyeballing. In theory, 27 should be a decently easy number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now a 7. And I don't put a line through my 7 or anything like I know some people do. I just do mine like plain. Alright, and I'm just gonna follow the dots over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Sunday is a short spelling like Friday is. One in, and here's the middle. So one in from the middle. For 28 is Sunday. Okay, 8, 8. Let's think about an 8. Do we know that's an 8? I honestly don't know how else you'd do an 8. Okay. And then over here for notes, we're just going to take it, and this is kind of combining another idea, and we're just going to do half of a box, and I'm going to take it to the same place as the headings, just because they're all uniform. I don't need that anymore. This one is just going to say notes on top to kind of further differentiate the section. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be like this. I think I counted wrong, because that's not quite centered, but hey, that is perfectly fine. Well, I say that, it's kind of bothering me. That one might be a correction tape. I bet there are people who could do this without making mistakes. If you're one of those people, don't judge me. Okay. I counted it as if it was putting the day. It should have been like the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where it starts. Okay, that's more centered. And so my O is gonna look a little funky, but that's all right. Okay. Now, I might still do something different here, but for the header, we're gonna do that faux calligraphy. And honestly, they just did it starting over here, and they did it in all lowercase, in the one that I saw at least, but a little more spread out. So July, and then this is 22nd to the 28th. Okay, and then for July, I'm going to do that thing where I just kind of bolden up what would be a downstroke. And in the past, I've always kind of, I made that one really thick, struggled with what side to put the bold on. And I came to think about it, it would be if you were holding a calligraphy pen, which side of the letter would get contact no matter what, if that makes any sense at all. But basically, if you were writing a J, to me, the inside, basically it would be on the right. So then you follow it, and then it's on the right, it's on the right. So it's always on the same side. But for me, I would struggle because I always kept it like on the outside of the letter compared to the inside and outside, just a consistent like directional side, that it would look really funny. So I'm going to bold up my letters in a similar way. Make it a little longer though on the bottom. And then, so like this is a good example. So with the 8, it switches directions. Okay. And so then with the numbers, I'm actually just going to go on both sides and bolden them up because the inspiration had the numbers as being bold. I just didn't want to do that until the end. So I'm just taking the pen and I'm kind of tracing the outside of what I already had down on both sides. So like I'm doing the left side, I'm going back starting at the top, doing the right side. Okay, the 3. And hopefully this can help them look a little more like the number. So actually for the 3, since the bottom I think was a little off-centered, I'm just going to leave it alone on the other side. Okay. Like if you make it a little thicker, obviously you don't have to go back over it unless there's something that you're wanting to correct. I want to be careful with the 4 that I don't start to blend it into the box itself. And making sure I still have the little kind of tail that makes it a 4. And I'm going to actually drop it down a little further. Okay. Now that I've gotten to it again, I'm going to take this white pen. I'm going to prime it on here. Make sure the ink starts to flow out of it. Okay. And okay. Tap that one too. I'll probably come back for it one more time before I'm actually done. I think I know what I want to do with the note section now. We'll do that at the end. I think I'm going to make it a script like the top to kind of have the script 2 places along the page. Okay. Again, if I'm making a space, I'm not intentionally making a space to color in. Like that time, great example. some of them either I have a hard time following, or the one side actually does need to be a little thicker. And so I guess my brain is making me do it that way, even though I'm not trying to. Okay. And theoretically, a 7 should be see, golly gee. Okay, so we're gonna color the top of the 7 a little more. That's fine. The more numbers I do, the more my hand is starting to, I think, understand what I'm doing, while also not really doing what I want it to. I'm going to do the inside of the 8. I think that's as good as the 8's going to get. Okay. And then one more time, I break the white out back out. This poor note section doesn't know what it's supposed to be. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to do just a little bit more of a spaced out script. Try my best to not let the white out trip me up. Okay. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bolder. But again, I don't want to go too crazy, especially on the whiteout, because it will show a little more. If you've used whiteout tape, you probably know what I mean. Okay, I like that much better than my first attempt at fixing it. So, okay, let's go in one more time, because that's dry. I think that will do it in terms of blending in the mistake. At least in real life, that has made it a lot harder to see. Let's see. In this one, there are some marks all through here. And eventually, after a couple coats, I can still see where they are, but they're not bright blue like they were. So, this is my slightly imperfect, but new style for me bullet journal for this coming week. Obviously, you know, if you're better at the numbers, it might turn out a little better, but for me, this is the first time that I've done a design like this. Like I said, typically they're more like what you might buy in a planner. This is, believe it or not, one of the more artistic ones that I've done. So if you have anything that you want to say, or if you just want to say hello, go ahead and do that, and I'd be happy to read them. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.